G'day again, everybody. Good to see you all. Welcome back to the channel. I have got some good news for you. Tonight, we just went out on another mission. We did some amazing stuff. We had a few choices as to what to go for. We didn't have a full combat group, so that stuff we've been talking about capturing large groups of Dracos and sorting out who are the good guys and who are the bad guys within this Draco faction. We just didn't have the right personnel to do that, so we let that one go for tonight. However, there are two big things that we looked at. One was the Large Hadron Collider, and you will see a video about that soon. That thing's bad news. Yeah, our group will be targeting that in the very near future. The thing that we looked at tonight was actually Klaus Schwab. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with Klaus Schwab. He is the mastermind behind the Great Reset. He's the architect, or the human face of this whole ridiculous shebang that we're going through. So we wanted to go and sort him out because he could use a little bit of a slap. And as it turned out, he's not the #1 guy. He's not it's not his idea. He's just an apparatchik. He's not, even in the pyramid that he's part of. He's not the first rank. He's not in the second rank. He's third rank, which means he's like important to physical humans, but not important in the whole hierarchy of that big fat drama. What did we find? Well, we each approached this really slowly, and what we wanted to actually target was the dreaming. I don't know if you guys know the word. It's the Indigenous Australians have a word. They call it the dreaming. And what it is it's an actual location. It's a place, but it's also an idea. It's a shared vision, a shared concept, a shared ideal, and within it is also all the steps towards making it happen. And whether or not the collective thought that's in there is strong enough to jostle to the front and make a dominant play to make its dream a reality is a question for each dreaming. You know, some of them are more ambitious than others, and some of them take more effort than others. This one took all the effort in the world, actually. But we looked at this dreaming, this key concept, the base idea behind the Great Reset. You know, one of those things where you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. We'll own everything and we'll be happy too. And it just got kind of ridiculous there. So we wanted to look at what they're actually talking about. What is the key thing? And so we found this chamber of the big idea. And in it was like an egg-shaped or an oval-shaped glass sphere or whatever it might be, and in it lived the idea. But the room that it was in, I don't know if you've seen those movies where there's a jewel thief and you've got to jump through the lasers and then swap it out, swap out the jewel because it's weighted in a certain way. And there's all these booby traps, and if anything goes wrong, then all havoc breaks loose. Well, that's the space that they stored the big idea. What we did was we used an extra dimension to pull a copy of it out, to copy this so that we have the big idea to play with. And the big idea, I don't know if you guys are into this sort of astral stuff or not, but the big ideas are objects. Emotions are objects on the astral plane. And so the amount of feeling that a person has is the larger the object. Anyway, this is the level of reality we're playing at. But the big idea, it generated a chamber around itself. And we started looking at this because there's all these kinds of inscriptions. And as you'll see here are a couple of the inscriptions that we've actually managed to write down. And these are key. These are like base tenets of what the big idea is. And we translated them, and they are ugly as sin. Oh my God, that's a hideous feeling to look into them. And there was also quite a lot of conjecture about reading them backwards and forwards, because what we've figured out is that the Draco is actually right in reverse. And so we worked with that. Now, we had a bit of a conundrum because what we initially tried to do was find the geometry chain that this was written in. All of these emotions are written in a coding language, and that coding language is sacred geometry. Okay, so here's a concept that you might want to work with. I'll throw it at you and see what you think. John chapter 1, verse 1. It reads something like this. First there was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. And the Word said, let there be light, therefore there was light. What is this telling us? It's telling us that sound is the primary vehicle of energy creation, or energy setting, or energy writing, followed by light, and in my opinion, followed by sacred geometric coding language. Now, so what we tried to do was to spool out that coding language and then invert it, reverse the statement. However, it really just was never going to work because the Draco want to pervert the key concepts of reality. Now, are you familiar with the Hermetic Law of good and evil? Like, there are 7 Hermetic laws. One of them is about good and evil. There will always be duality and polarity between good and evil. That's how it is. Those two things will interplay with each other. I'm also releasing another video soon called F the Angelic Kingdom, because those are the guys who've been managing that interplay between good and evil, and they've been doing a horrible job, the worst job you can imagine. But you know, you'll hear more about that from a later video. What the Dracos actually wanted to create was good, evil, and a third polarity, a third location, a third, not just a scale from one to the other, but a third location that was off this scale. And it was a place where good and evil didn't make a damn of difference. What they wanted was they wanted to create a complete trap where there was no room to move, but life would go into the machine, as they call it, or the system, and come out as their feedstock. And it would be locked this way forever and ever and ever. And because nobody has any choice, because nobody has any volition, there's no such thing as good and evil. They've subverted the laws of metaphysics. And so how do you invert that third location? How do you invert that concept? Well, you damn well can't. So we banged our head on that wall for a little while. However, we decided to get some help re-scripting this, and we got Hecate to come along. Now, Hecate is mistress of the underworld, but she's also in this vein of feminine deities. The best known one is Kali the Destroyer, and from Hindu religion. If you go back to Egyptian religion, they have Sekhmet, who drank half of humanity's blood and got talked out of drinking the other half. She is that kind of a, dare I say, just a badass. Like, these girls are very capable and competent at violence, and they have no issue sharing that with other beings. In this case, like, the whole concept sickened her so much that she quite voluntarily rewrote the script and inverted the meaning and brought it to a place of respect, which is something that the Dracos could really damn well learn. And then once she completed it, I'll come back to the door that she showed us. And also, just to give you a sense of Hecate's mood and who she is, I did some automatic writing while she was doing that. And I'll read it out. If this is addressing the Draco, if knowing is your ultimate goal, your existence is without fruit. Fail in your knowledge and perish. Your time is come. We reclaim our throne to rule our world as we see fit. Penance. collapse and bleed for this time. Sorry, collapse and bleed for your time is done. F off. And that's how Hecate talks. Like, I like her. I like her a lot. And then what we did with Hecate's rescripted, let's call it mission statement for the Draco, or core concept, or the core concept of their dreaming, we then replaced it in that oval bubble. The thing that they were protecting so well, we just used another level of dimension, went through the space between time and reinserted and withdrew the old definition and inserted the new definition, which is the guiding principle that the Draco are using right now. This is the guiding principle that underpins the Great Reset. And so what we saw was this pyramid full of apparatchiks and trapped people and bullies and psychos who are out there trying to shoehorn the Great Reset onto planet Earth. And now they're in a place where they can't even remember properly exactly what the Great Reset was for. We stole that from them, and we redefine it as one of respect. I'm really interested to see how that all plays out for humanity. But we crown it as a great victory because it's like stealing the objectives of the battle plan that they started with. Like the hive queen has lost her way and the rest of the ants don't know what to do anymore. One of the other things that we encountered or was shown by Hecate is the part of humanity's responsibility in calling for the manifestation of the Great Reset. And so as the Dracos would provoke emotions out of people, as they would stimulate fear and horror and terror and violence and all of the nasty that they were into, of course, there is a little bit of unsolicited emotion, a little bit of emotion that is generated purely by the humans. And that's been separated from what the Draco provoked in us. Like, this is our own creation, so we are definitely responsible for it. And in it, that, you know, behind this portal, Hecate had shown us that all of the horror and madness that humanity has created off their own bat, like their creativity around horror and madness that the Dracos hold dear. That's our responsibility to take care of. They told us that our team was just not big enough to tackle that quantity and quality of crazy. And so, yet again, we're calling out for Astral Warriors. We need more of us. You know, we're doing great work. Get in touch with everybody. Because, you know, if you know somebody who is medical, intuitive, or better, has been meditating seriously for more than 10 years, is a light worker or a healer, then these are the kinds of qualifications that we're looking for. And every time that we go out as a group, we discover something new about the multiverse. We discover something fresh. We're always learning. It's the payoff for doing such wild work and really pushing the envelope of what's going on out there. It just blows my mind because I get to see some of the most talented healers I'll ever meet just busting loose, doing their best thing. It was amazing. You know, one of our team is a light language specialist, and she was able to translate so much of the Draco writing directly, and it's just so helpful. It's just had keys to understanding exactly what we were dealing with. Very, very impressive. So this is the part where I say, if you've made it all the way to the end of this video, it means that I'm saying interesting stuff. And if I'm saying interesting stuff, you can like and subscribe, because we're new in this field. We've only been publishing this work for, what, a month and a half maybe? And we're not famous yet, and I'm very disappointed in all of you for not helping with that. So like, subscribe, send this video to your mystic friends who will gain some strength, support, and hope for humanity in this way. Also coming up is a video, an explanation of the timeline divergence that humanity is going through right now. So stay tuned. I look forward to seeing more of you. Thank you very much. Bye for now.